morning all. Ira Epstein with one Planet Update. And this update is for Wednesday, the 14th of December, 2022. Just getting on to 8:30 a.m. Central Time. So you're watching the stock market as it gets opening. There's already discussion about what happened yesterday because about a minute before the opening, crazy action hit in the Treasury market and in the stock indices. People are questioning if there was a leak of the information because the volume was so big. They'll dig into it. They have a way of finding this out. You always ask, do people get the number early? Some people do in Congress. You heard what I said, in Congress. Could that have been the case? Did somebody by accident leak something? I don't know. But the market's always looking for an edge one way or the other. But what a crazy day. Remember how we went up? Did you pay attention after what went on here? You had the CPI number at 730. The Dow went up like 800 points. And then 3 hours or so later, it was lower on the day. So what's going on? Well, you hit key resistance levels. Pay attention to Bollinger Bands. I can't emphasize it enough. It's where the market went. It's where the market stopped. Before I get too far today, because it is an important day, let's take a look, if we could here for a moment, at what's come out. We have the MBA mortgage market headline, and people are doing everything. This drop in interest rates is impacting refi, the purchases. Obviously, the market, you're looking at the home builders. If you're looking at some of the ETFs, you're seeing that they got good bids yesterday because, hey, what if we're going back to a 5% mortgage? That could happen. Why not? You get down to a 5% mortgage, the housing market will be strong then this summer and spring. We'll see. I didn't say it's going there yet, but that's the talk. U.S. import prices. Well, the import prices, we didn't import as much inflation. It was down 0.6, nor did we export much inflation, about where it was. The big elephant in the room is at 1 o'clock, the FOMC monetary announcement comes out. Traders will scour it to look for keywords of ongoing and other things. Where's the Fed? The words are always chosen carefully. Everybody's going to pour over the dot plot. And then the question and answer period begins at 1:30, and the questions will be good ones. Why? People want to know when the Fed is going to pause. That's what they're looking for right now. So the market has built in a 50 basis point hike that will hit us today. Let's get back to the chart action if we could. A 50 basis point hike today, 25 February, 25 March, and the bets are that that's where the market goes into a state of pause, very possibly for the next 9 months sitting, letting the lag effect take place. Can the Fed adjust that? Yes. Questions might come to the Fed about that. I'm sure the Fed chair will say everything will be data dependent. They're not going to let the genie come back out once they got the genie on the trajectory of going back into the bottle. Where's the sticky inflation going to show up? That becomes the big question. Is it 3% in the core? Is it 4%? Nobody knows just yet. Rents. Homes, where's the number going to fall to? There's a lot of questions here that have to be asked. What's the impact on the dollar? Well, the dollar hasn't made back any of the big gains the big losses that it saw yesterday. That's interesting. But remember, right after us, we get the European Central Bank. This is this week, the Bank of England and the Swiss National Bank. Going to get a bunch of different plays in that. Okay, it's going to be action galore. This is the last full week of trading in 2022. We have 4-day weeks next week and the week after. So adjust your trading accordingly. It's been a good trading year, I can tell you that. I'm very satisfied with it. Not happy with my last 2 trades of the year so far, but I've got days left. We'll see if we can make up for that. I was definitely not right in the heating oil and wheat, 2 markets that I missed on, but I'm one of the few guys that talks about it when they go against them. Most people just like to forget it. I don't forget. And I think I've made some modifications with this heating oil and gasoline as to how I want to handle them going forward. The risk factor isn't large as I see it in the crude when you can trade the mini contracts. You don't have the minis and the gasoline and the heating oil that make any sense. And so you got to maybe choose the spots a little differently. I'm thinking about it, that I can tell you. Whenever you lose, you start thinking. Don't you? If you don't, you got a problem. You can't just go over them. Why? Did something change? So you put this all together today, and we're going to be busy. I mean, real busy. If I see opportunities later, starting tomorrow, day after, I might do some special reports on the market. I know traders are going to ask about the Santa Claus rally. I think it's going to happen. So I'm looking for a year-end move back to the upside, and that's because I don't see anything big and bearish right now. I think that bear part shows up next year. I think you got corporate earnings to worry about. I think you got recession to talk about. There's just going to be a lot more to be dealt with, and keep your eye today on what the Fed chair says about labor, because even though the CPI is coming down, he has not conquered the labor part of the equation. And if you can't, if you will, slow down that labor market, then you get more people working, they have more money, they'll overcome the CPI declining, and they'll put demand back in the market. Always be careful of things like that. Now, for those of you that like to keep up and learn, remember we have our guide to technical indicators, and they're just so darn important. Our good friends at Futures Magazine put this together. It's volumes 1 and 2, but it's everything. So the different types of charts you can work with, the chart patterns, which I think are so darn important, trend lines, how do you work with them? Obviously, one of my favorites, moving averages, slow stochastics, RSI. Do the spreads tell you a story sometimes? And of course, what I never understood was Gann and Elliott. I looked at it and I just years ago said, you know something? It's 5 guys on a chart don't see the same thing. That for me is not something I like. But you have to learn and see if that fits for you. Other people think they've got it and got it down cold. I think it's a great history lesson, but it doesn't tell me where the market's going. It's like some of the other indicators. In any case, I have an opinion because I understand them. You have to get to that point so you can argue them. How do you do it? Go to our website under free offers and you'll see a host of free offers. Take advantage. You can also click up here if you're on your PC and you'll see an icon when you do that. Give it a click. It'll take you right to that section. Fill out what you'd like copies of. We'll get it to you. I'm Ira Epstein. You have a great day. I'll see you at the end of the day with our market wrap-ups. Take care.